So this video was too interesting not to make. I'm a little bit under the weather right now, but if you guys like, or if you disagree with anything I said in the video, please do leave a comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. So I made a reel recently talking about what I believe to be the most forgettable champion, and my pick at the time was Magomed Ankalaev, but so many people commented so many different interesting insights underneath that video that I wanted to make this video. I felt compelled to do so. So we have our tier list here, going from 11 at most forgettable to 1 at the least forgettable. We're just gonna rank them off, one fighter in each category, and let's get into it. So first one is pretty undeniable, and unfortunately it's for a mixture of different factors. I love Zhang Weili, and I think she's a great champion, and she's had some absolute wars, especially her fight at UFC 300, but there's unfortunately a small margin of fighters who don't really speak English and are still marketable. Zhang Weili not really speaking English, being in a women's division, which again gets a lot of flack. They've had some bad breaks and some good breaks here. All those factors combined, and the fact that I don't really see anything about her being champion from the UFC except when she fights, I would be inclined to put her at the bottom tier. Now, I don't know what's going on in China, but I know, I guess here in the States is the way we should be framing this video. Right now, the least talked about, the most forgettable. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead, and I might have to put Ank at the 10th spot, which is weird because his last fight was obviously against Alex Pereira, but outside of Sean Strickland singing his praises and that now deleted tweet that Pereira said that he got hacked into making, I really don't hear a lot from this guy. And I think it's cool though. I mean, he doesn't really seem to want the spotlight, and maybe that's the same thing with Zhang Weili. Everything that I see from him on Instagram is him chilling with his boys, chilling in the coffee shop that he just opened, riding horses. He doesn't get a lot of coverage, and I don't really get the sense that besides building up that Pereira fight, he wants that much coverage. So I'm going to toss him down at the 10th spot. I might have to put, for this next pick, Pantoja in here. And I might even, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and flip the two. Because unfortunately, he's a part of the flyweight division. And for real fans of the sport, I think that actually know and watch, they know the flyweight division is something serious. It doesn't have the same name value as a lightweight, a welterweight, a middleweight, pretty much any division besides the women's and heavyweight. No, but it's given us some great wars over the years. Pantoja, though, just a guy that for whatever reason can't sell tickets. Again, doesn't speak a ton of English. And despite how absolutely dominant he is and the fun fights that he puts on, UFC doesn't push him that much. I also think it's tough because he's clearing out a lot of his division. So it's tough even for, I think, more marketable champions that are running through guys to kind of stay relevant. When a guy has so many defenses, you start to wonder yourself, okay, who else is this guy going to face? Why should I care about the next fight? Realistically, he's running out of people in the division. I think that's only going to hurt him. Unless he goes up and tries to get double champ status, which for a guy like him, I'd be absolutely open to. All right, moving on to number 8. I'm going to go ahead with probably the Bullet. Again, all due respect to Valentina, great champion, one of the greatest fighters of all time, certainly one of the greatest women fighters of all time. I see people talk about how when Valentina's fighting, oh, it's a women's MMA fight, but at least it's Valentina Shevchenko. She did just fight Manon Fiorot. So I'll slot her at the number 8 spot, also due to the strength of the people in front of her. I mean, she doesn't even come close, in my personal opinion. See, this is when it gets tough, because we got some killers here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and slot Jack Della at this 7th spot. Now, he is one of my absolute favorite fighters. So glad he's champion, and it was a really fun performance against Bilal. He's got that fight against Islam, but Islam is the A side in that fight, and so I couldn't put him above Islam. The only thing that's kind of hanging me up right now is the fact that Volk, I could maybe see putting under him. And in fact, you know what? I am going to put Volk under him, because Volk at the moment, while he is a great champion, and he's been a long-standing champion, his last win over Diego Lopez was great. There is the conversation to be had now, who does Volk face? There's also the conversation to be had that Ilya beat him. And now that Ilya has moved up and has vacated his title, I feel like there's been a bit of a dead zone in Volk coverage. He was so dominant before that it's kind of the same thing we talked about earlier in the video. For that reason, and for the fact that Jack Della is going to be part of a super fight against Islam, I'm going to have to probably put Jack Della above Volk. Things can change, but as of the 13th of June 2025, this is my personal opinion for who is the least and the most forgettable. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and probably put Kayla Harrison. She's a new champion. She's got that super fight with Amanda Nunes. She breathes a lot of air into that division. A lot of people talk about her. She's one of the only times I can remember in recent memory that the UFC did a face-to-face promo over Zoom for a woman's fight. And I think with that super fight, that warrants her a 5 spot. And also, I can't put her above Dricus just because Dricus has always had this kind of like chokehold on the MMA community where everyone loves talking about him. So I really can't, I'm not comfortable putting her above him. Next up at number 4, I'm probably going to toss Dricus there. Again, another spot that's tricky because you got Jones, Makhachev, and Dvalishvili above them, still on the table. But Dricus has that big fight with Khamzat coming up. Everyone is already memeing on it. He's a guy that just generates attention. He's so good at that. So for that reason, I'm going to slot him at the number 4 spot. And now we have our last 3 competitors. I'm probably gonna roll with, at the moment, and this is a real tough pick, I'm gonna put Islam at the number 3 spot. Now, I think this will definitely change, but I'm only putting him at the 3 and Merab at the 2 because Merab just had that win over Sugar Sean O'Malley, and now people are talking about the fact that he could be one of the best bantamweights ever. With a win like that, he's just been white hot recently. And his online following loves to see him post stuff. I think that's another crucial part of the championship process of getting eyes on you. It's just having that digital presence. He does that super duper well. So those are my 2 and 3 picks. And then, dude, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and put John Jones at the 1. And it's not because I enjoy him as a champion. It's not because I enjoy him as a guy. It's because he is so relevant right now for all the wrong reasons. For ducking, for holding up the heavyweight division. If you go on any UFC post, you'll see comments about Jones ducking. And I suppose we could have Tom Aspinall on here. I'd probably put him at the 1 alongside Jones. But yes, Jones right now, for my money, is probably the most talked about champion in MMA, which sucks. It really does, because it really is for a perverse reason. And you hate to see a guy like that holding up a division that's not really even that good, and a guy that has looked at Francis Ngannou now in the PFL for a big super fight. It's just so dumb to me, man. But that's my tier list. That's as of making this video. And that's, listen, my perspective could change on this. If you think I missed anything, you disagree, you agree, let me know down in the comment section below. And without further ado, it's been your boy, the combat consultant, the soundboard god, Jacob Cooperman. And I'll see you in the next one.